Remember as a kid, sometimes things went wrong in my life. And you always had your mum and dad, and they would just give you a big hug. They would give you kindness, and you'd feel so much better. Do you understand where depression is coming from, and where it can end? Unfortunately, there's not enough kindness in our modern world, is there? We're so busy with our own careers, with our own duties. We don't have as much time as we used to just have a cup of coffee with each other, just to spend time with each other, just to hang out and care for each other. It's one of the reasons that we have depression. And sometimes even in your office, your place of work, wherever that may be, sometimes you can actually notice that someone's not looking, that they're so happy today. Don't think, oh no, I haven't got time to talk to them, I've got so much work to do. Please talk to them. Please just put your hand around them, or just ask them, are you really all right? And they'll always say, yeah, I'm all right. And say, no, you're not. Be kind to each other. Because that little bit of care and kindness will actually solve a huge amount of depression in this world. You've been in those situations. You've been in difficulty and trouble, and sometimes just some kind person has just come to you, and that's made all the difference in the world. So this is actually how we can overcome these depressions which exist in our world. And you notice you don't really need sort of medication. I know that I've got many disciples who are clinical psychiatrists and psychologists, and they do actually say that there are actually some physical depressions which are very, very deep, and they are actually chemical imbalances. Those you really do need to see a doctor for. But those are the extreme forms of depression. Most depressions in our world are just because of wrong attitudes, we're not very wise, and we just don't know how to deal with the difficulties in life. We're tired, we don't get enough praise, we're not kind to ourselves and others, and we just run around just wondering what to do when we should be looking after ourselves and others. We see the problems in life and we just don't get perspective. We just don't know how to put it out there somewhere to see it's just a problem in life. Don't make such a big deal out of it. And if you can do that, you'll find that much of your depressions will disappear. And you'll also know how to help others with depression, because you'll come across that if you haven't already. People you work with, people in your family, you get really fed up for one reason or another. And if you know how to help them, you'll save a lot of suffering in the world. Thank you for listening. Okay, so now we get the best part of the evening, the Q&A. So, now's the opportunity for Q&A about this talk, about anything else you want to ask Q&A about. I give talks on all sorts of things. Last September, I was invited to give a keynote speech at a major conference. It was actually a world conference. It was the World Computer Congress. And a Buddhist monk gave the keynote speech, and that was me. I don't know anything about computers. Well, I do know a little bit, but not that much. So, I can answer questions on just about anything. So you can test me out. Make it interesting. So, does anyone want to ask a question? Put their hand up to ask a question. Okay, I don't know the last time I told this story, but I usually have to tell this story again and again and again to get a question out of you. That's the teaching of the Buddha. It's in one of the suttas. It's actually in the Mahakamuvanga Sutta, if you want to check me up on this. That a man came to see the Buddha and asked him about the law of karma. In particular, he wanted to know, I just finished the story now, I'm now starting in your next. And why is it that some people are, are wealthy? Sometimes the people are born into wealth, was that you? Why were my parents not so wealthy? And sometimes you go to work, you really work hard, you try and start a business, but it just doesn't work. While other people, they just do nothing and they just win the lotto and they get wealthy, they start a business, they make heaps and heaps of money, it can't just be something to do with this life. What did we do in our past life? Especially, what can we do in this life to make sure we're wealthy in the next life? And why are some people going to be poor in the next life? He wanted to know the law of karma and how to create wealth. And the Buddha gave him a very, very wonderful answer, so much that he asked another question. He said, why is it that some people are born really beautiful and others are ugly? And I trained myself now to always look at the flaw when I say ugly, because I said this story in Singapore once, and I just happened, you could not be looking somewhere, I just happened to be looking at this one woman when I said the word ugly. And my goodness, she complained. Why did you look at me when you said the word ugly? But also I make sure when I say the word beautiful, I look at the flaw as well, so someone would get the wrong idea if I say beautiful looking at them. So, oh, he likes me, he likes me. But anyway, the Buddha gave a good answer, how to be beautiful and ugly in your next life. But the most important one was, they asked, why are some people intelligent and other people are stupid? Even if you, some kids, or maybe your son or daughter, they really put in the hours, doing their homework, doing extra tuition, and still they don't get to university. There must be some karmic cause from that. And the Buddha said, yes, the karmic cause of stupidity in your next life is not asking questions in this life. He actually said that, that's right there. Any questions? Okay, thank you. First over here. Going to be intelligent in the next life.
Thank you. That happened in the
it goes to that.
I think there's something happening when you treat this part. Change back. Hello? Okay. I think this recently happened in Malaysia is very sad. There's one young guy, 22 years old, called Avis Kong. She commits suicide and because of breakdown with a girlfriend. So he posted on Facebook saying he's counting down. He's very depressed. I think he's very frustrated in life. So he placed in the Facebook saying he's counting down on going to die in 12 a.m. in the midnight. So a lot of friends would just, some would just mention, stop him and say life is beautiful, blah, 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 and a lot of things. But some would just encourage him and say, you're showing a good example, wherever you just go pursue your love, you're a hero. What we're going to do to stop these type of people, like when they're super depressed, they cannot find life, hope in life, and they just want to commit suicide in like, I'm going to die in another 45 minutes. What we can do, but he really jumped up, he died on 12 a.m. He just jumped from the, I think, 70th floor and he died. It's a big news in Malaysia. Is it his karma or his has to be died or wherever we can do to stop this person? It's very sad.
Okay. First of all, it's not his karma. We always make our karma, so it's not destined to be. But first of all, that when somebody actually says that, usually the relations or even the police intervene to protect him from himself. But sometimes people get into crazy little states like that. And we all know it does pass. And so sometimes you have to put people, let's say, in a padded cell or some place where they can do themselves no harm. And if you can actually do that, they call that, in hospital, so they call it on suicide watch. Yeah. Yeah, no, but usually they tell them, if I saw that on a Facebook page, straight away I call someone, I'll go there myself. Physically, they just restrain the guy, so he doesn't actually do anything so stupid. Sometimes a physical restraint, because you know that the next day you probably have a totally different understanding about the problem. It does pass. Look, now I had a girlfriend which I fell in love with when I was young. And she dumped me. But at the time I was very depressed. We all are. But I look back upon it, so thank you so much, girlfriend. If you hadn't have dumped me, I might be married to you by now, instead of being a happy monk. Oh, thank you so much for dumping me. If I saw her again, I'd say, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But at the time, you know, you look upon it and it looks really terrible. But with the perspective of even a week, you look back and it's not so bad. That's as simply as a hand. But you know, it's always prevention is better than cure. And so it's actually to prevent people from thinking they're going to solve problems by committing suicide. It's an okay, you know, you think you're going to solve your problems, you're going to make all these problems from the people in Malaysia, which that guy has done. It's saddened a lot of people. So remember, you're not alone in this world. What you do has a lot of consequences for other people. So you committing suicide, how much are you hurting your mother, your father, your friends, even other people you never really realised cared for you? And when you think like that, you say, I just can't do that. There's heaps and heaps and heaps of other ways. If a person starts getting a bit sort of sad and depressed, one of the great things they can do is actually to do some community service. Because a lot of times when they think life is not worth living, all they need to do is actually to go and volunteer in a hospital, in an orphanage, an old people's home. There's always something you can do. And when you actually go and work in a place like that, you realise, my goodness, I am needed. For 2 years, when I was at Cambridge, I used to spend one afternoon a week volunteering in a hospital for the mentally disabled, mostly working with Down syndrome kids. I did the first maybe month because I thought it was a good thing to do. After that, it was just because I enjoyed it so much. I wouldn't give that up for the world. It was one of my afternoons I look forward to. And the reason was because those Down syndrome kids taught me just how to communicate emotionally. But now I was an Englishman. Englishmen are not very well developed in their emotions, most of them. I know there's one here actually, isn't there? I better be careful. Yeah. But these kids, these Down syndrome kids, when they see me coming, they'd race up to me and hug me. And you know, I was sexual, I was heterosexual. Being hugged by another man in public was embarrassing for me at first. But I realised the amount of love these kids had. And sometimes I'd come, I was in a bad mood, and they'd pick it up immediately. I couldn't believe just how emotionally sensitive these people were. Their speech was hopeless. They could hardly, you know, put a few sentences together. But emotionally, they were so acute. And that's actually, I was so impressed with that. That's why I learned a lot, how to actually relate with people. So I give them a huge debt of gratitude. So you find that when you go to any community service, actually they're doing the service for you. You're learning and growing. You feel actually so good about yourself. You've actually done something, you've helped somebody. So a bit of community service, if you're feeling down, you feel that you're not worth anything, just go out there. There's so many old people, elderly people, sick people, lonely people. You just need just someone to talk to. And that would save the whole problem, that would solve the problem. People have done that, and they've gone to community service to get rid of their depression. And they've gone on with community service for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And one lady that she was told to go into the burns units of hospitals and children's wards. There were kids who had to be in this isolation, usually for months, because their burns were so bad if they went out, they'd all get infected. And so they had this sterile ward, which they were like in prison.